Oh, let me find this. It's a story from the New York Times, Matt Bai. Looking for it. This is only in the New York Times would you see it. Yes, here it is. After Tucson, is the anger gone? Now, this is presented as a news article, not an editorial or even a sermon. But we are too stupid, apparently, to receive the flash of clarity this shooting provided us. So the New York Times has to tell us what it all meant. And the headline, after Tucson, is the anger gone? And here's one of the full quotes. If the shooting didn't feel like the turning point in the civic life of the nation that some of us had imagined it might become, then it may be because such turning points aren't always immediately evident. Or maybe it's because the murder suspect appeared to have no obvious ideology. His crime an imperfect parable for the consequences of political... This is shameless. This guy, let me reread the paragraph and translate for you. If the shooting didn't feel like the turning point in the civic life of the nation that some of us had hoped and tried to make it real, then it may be because such turning points aren't always immediately evident. Or maybe it's because the murder suspect couldn't get pinned with being a right-winger despite our best efforts. Perhaps, though, we have to consider another explanation, that the speed and fractiousness of our modern society make it all but impossible now for any one moment to transform the national debate. Damn it. So here you have this guy, Matt Bai, desperately hoping that this one event would get rid of right-wing media. That's what he means here. Turning point in civic life of the nation is get rid of right-wing media. And damn it, now the speed and the fractiousness of our modern society makes it all but impossible for any one moment to transform the national debate. So they're going to have to come up with many more of these. One moment is not enough. We need more of these. Now, I don't want to hear from anybody saying, Mr. Limbaugh, that's shameful of you to say that. It's the Democrats that keep talking about the opportunities such events present them. Mark Penn, Obama needs this, like Clinton had the Oklahoma City bombing, to reconnect with the American people. The interrogation, not all transformational moments entail violence. John Lewis Geddes, the preeminent Cold War scholar and Yale professor, sees a national turning point in 1954 when Joe McCarthy testified before Senate subcommittee in what came to be known as the Army McCarthy hearings. The interrogation of McCarthy by Joseph Welch, an Army warrior, have you no sense of decency, sir, at long last, resonated throughout a country that was just then discovering the nascent power of television. Years of ruinous disagreement over the threat of internal communism seemed to dissipate overnight. Oh, yeah. Years of ruinous disagreement over the threat of internal communism. It did no such thing. All it did was humiliate McCarthy. It didn't get rid of the notion that there was internal. For crying out loud, there was a Communist Party USA. At any rate, what a triumph here. Never mind that the whole thing was staged. The Army McCarthy hearings was staged. And never mind that we are still suffering from the ravages of years of internal communism. In fact, several of them are in this regime. Several of them have been in this regime. Van Jones, for crying out loud, folks. We got varying degrees of communism, Marxism, socialism throughout this regime. New York Times still claiming the shooting was the consequences of political rhetoric, just not the kind that they wanted. Oh, yeah, the Cold War did not end after those hearings. Of course not. So, anyway, the shootings aren't changing enough. We need more shootings. Well, Snerdley, I'm just telling you, let me read this to you again. You understand the mindset of the left, which I do. Here you go. Perhaps, though, we have to consider another explanation for why this didn't get rid of right-wing media. That the speed and fractiousness of our modern society make it all but impossible now for any one moment to transform the national debate. shootings aren't changing enough. I mean, if one is not enough to get rid of right-wing media, then what is needed? Again, I remind you, it's these guys that wish for events like this so that their presidents can reconnect with the American people. Oklahoma City bombing, 9/11. Mark Penn going after this guy.